Now we're going to talk about the things I love about this movie. So, without further ado, let's talk about it. Well, I really enjoy this movie. It's a really fun and really creative story. Sure, it's a mix between Toy Story and Gremlins, with a mix of Child's Play and a bit of the Terminator. But like those movies, Joe Dante keeps it fun, keeps it interesting, and keeps it wild. And it has an incredible cast of characters, ranging from actors you probably already know or haven't heard of before. And it has some really cool villains. The Commandos are really fun villains. They're goofy and silly, but also really threatening and really psychopathic. They're programmed to actually destroy the Gorgonites, but if any human gets in their way, or they think is an ally of them, the Commandos show no mercy to them. No kid, no adult, nobody. Boy, they're a bunch of jerks. And Joe Dante makes the movie really, really good, like I said before. Even though it's like a mix between Gremlins and Toy Story, but like those movies, like I said before, they keep it great. It has the hilarity of the hilarity of Toy Story, with the wild and craziness of Gremlins. And that's what I really like about this movie. It's a fun movie, and it has a really colourful cast. And the Commandos are really fun villains. Even some of the human characters are actually really good too. And it looks like everyone's having fun. The actors, the crew, even Joe Dante. With that said, let's talk about the things I don't like about it. I don't hate this movie, but I have to admit I'm gonna point out why this movie has a couple of problems. Like I said, even though I love this movie, it does have a couple of problems. The first problem is it was the sponsor, because originally this was originally going to be a edgy teen movie for adults. But when sponsors came in, they had to make it more PG-13. The worst thing about it is this: Burger King. You see, before the film was actually released, Burger King made a deal, and they actually started basically putting small soldiers' toys in their meals. But when the movie came out, some Burger Kings didn't even have small soldiers' toys, so they had to put in Mr. Potato Heads. Good. Well, I never got any of the toys from Burger King, but I wish I did. It would have looked cool. Yeah. The first problem was the sponsors. Because Burger King didn't know that this movie was going to have some scenes that might be a little bit too inappropriate for kids. The second problem was the action. Now there were a lot of action scenes in this movie, but in the first half there wasn't much action. Once in a while, in the first half, we actually got action scenes like a bike chase, the Commandos breaking out of their boxes, Chip and Archer confronting each other, and even the Commandos actually interrogating Archer. But in the second half, there was more and more. More and more and more. So pretty much, we were saved most. So basically, we were saved most of the action scenes for the second half. And my third nitpick was that the movie can't decide if it wants to be a kids movie or adult movie. I mean, it has the goofiness and silliness of Toy Story, but it also has mature elements like in Gremlins, Terminator, and Child's Play. The best example of this argument would have to be with the Barbie dolls. After Commandos actually come to life, after Commandos bring them to life, they're actually walking around in their bikinis, deformed, and talking like Valley Girls. And they also tie up Kirsten Dunst, who was basically 16 at the time. Okay, I don't know what they were thinking at the time, and I guess this was a different time, but this is the most darkest. But this is the darkest scene in the movie. The scene can be described as either nightmare fuel, fetish fuel, or just downright inappropriate fuel. My guess is all three. Remember, people. She was only 16 at the time. Yeah, and this scene has become pretty controversial to this day. Like I said, it can't decide if it wants to be a kids movie or an older kids movie. But with that out of the way, let's now move on to the characters. Right, let's start off with our main character, Alan. First off, we got Alan, played by Gregory Smith. Alan is a sort of troublemaking teen who's had a bit of a troubled past, but is trying to make up for it. For the entire movie, he's trying to show that he's responsible, but he gets caught up in the fight between the Gorgonites and the Commandos. Which leaves him frustrated because he's trying to become a much more responsible person. But the more he actually bonds with the Gorgonites, he's not mad. He's not as moody as he once was. He even does a lot of heroic things in the movie. And Gregory Smith does a great job. Even though his character is a little bit, well, like every 90s kid and every 2000s kid and every kid we've seen in movies, we've seen everywhere, even today, Gregory Smith does an absolutely pretty good job. There's Archer, leader of the Gorgonites, who's a kind-hearted, but a little bit cowardly toy. Archer is leader of the Gorgonites, and becomes close friends with Alan. Since he was programmed to actually hide, he can come off as a bit cowardly. But as the film goes on, he becomes more braver, like not giving up his fellow Gorgonites, freeing Christie, and even taking part in the final battle. It does prove that he'd grown. And Archer's a really cool character. He's a bit of a mentor to Alan in some way. I'd say a bit of a mentor. We also got the other Gorgonites like Slamfist, Punch It, Scratch It, Ocular, Tropicon, and Infidiac, or Insaniac, my personal favourite Gorgonite. And like Archer, they were programmed to actually lose and hide. But like Archer, they become more braver as the film goes on. Even taking some ass in the final battle. Like Archer said, no more hiding. Then we got Chrissy Fimple, played by Kirsten Dunst. Christy is basically Alan's love interest in the movie, and basically everyone's favourite character in the movie. Chrissy is a teenage hippie who likes Led Zeppelin, collects dolls, and has a bit of a girly side, even though she's kind of ashamed of it a little bit. She likes dating older guys, and for the first half of the movie, she's the normal everyday teenager we've seen in every movies. But after she gets dragged into this madness, she shows off her badass side. Chrissy is by far my favourite character in the entire movie. Not only is this character absolutely awesome, she's very likeable as well. I even used to have a crush on her when I was little. And I bet all of you did too. And Kirsten Dunst does a brilliant job as usual. Just like she was in Jumanji, the Spider-Man movies, Bring It On, and many others. Also, comment down below if Chrissy was your favourite character in the film. Then we have Chip Hazard, the main villain of the movie, voiced by Tommy Lee Jones. Chip Hazard is leader of the Commando Elite, and also will stop at nothing until he destroys them and any human who gets in his way. Since he and the other commandos were actually programmed to actually win, he believes himself as a hero, and he will stop at nothing. And as the film goes on, we get to see how crazy he gets, and he'll stop at nothing until he destroys anyone who gets in his way. And Tommy Lee Jones does a fantastic job as usual. He's just fantastic in the role. He even makes this Disney reference sound badass.
It's a small world after all.
Only Tommy Lee Jones himself can make that badass. You also got the other commandos, including Butch Mayhope, the sniper, Nick Nitro, the demolition, Brick Bazooka, the artillery, Link Static, the technician, and Kit Killigan, the surgeon. Like Chip, they are programmed to actually win, and they'll stop at nothing. They are cunning, and almost psychopathic in a way, and relentless, but also fun-loving at the same time. But don't be fooled, they'll stop at nothing. And they'll stop at nothing until they destroy the Gorgonites. Even kidnapping Christie, even threatening to kill her at one point in the movie. When they force her in front of a camera, tied to a chair, and telling her to say all these lines in the video sent to Alan, and if she doesn't, they'll kill her. And that's pretty dark for a kids' movie. But they're still badass villains, and even though they're badass villains, they're still awesome. And they do lose in the end, but you can't help but actually love them.